Greetings from Castle Goring, from Mickey, Aurora, and from me. Well, don't my girls look absolutely fabulous? They have been to the hairdresser and had their hair cut and washed, and they smell divine. And without further ado, I will now plunge in with what Wind Song says. It's obvious that the duplicitous duo are out to get you, Lady C. They have not had any success so far, but they will try to smear your name. Well, I have been told that there have been people on my site trying to stoke the fires and making all sorts of trouble. Am I surprised? Well, quite frankly, in a situation like this, I don't think one thing or the other, and I don't think one way or the other. I will say that it's not surprising if the duplicitous duo would try to undermine me or try to lose me support, because to lose me support is to gain themselves support. And I am told that where they are concerned, I am their number one enemy in the media. I actually thought it would have been Piers Morgan, or maybe even Tom Bower, but evidently not. It's moi. Do I care? Well, let me put it this way. I think that any dirty dealings and nasty games are going to ultimately not behoove them, because they could shut down every truth teller, every critic, everybody who dares to speak the truth, everybody who doesn't like them, and they are still not going to be a success. And the reason why they're not going to be a success is that, for instance, if you've decided that you are going to cram it down the world's throat, that you are a great talent, say shades of Florence Foster Jenkins, the ridiculous woman who thought she was a great opera singer when in fact she croaked. And there was a movie made with Meryl Streep playing Florence Foster Jenkins and Hugh Grant playing her husband. But Florence Foster Jenkins has been notorious for years in musical circles. There used to be a little clip of her that did the rounds in musical circles, and we used to kill ourselves with laughter because she genuinely thought she was a great talent, and she wasn't. Shades of Meghan and Harry. He's actually more talented than she is, ironically enough. But he doesn't have the get up and go. He doesn't have the initiative. He doesn't have the ambition, sorry, that she has. He also basically doesn't really care about money to the extent that she does. I mean, she's the one who wants to be a billionaire. He doesn't care about that sort of thing, never did, and only does to the extent that it is required of him to cooperate with her ambitions. So they're trying to smear my name. Let them go right ahead. But if it is an allusion to the fact that certain people have taken umbrage at certain things I have said, I am sure some of those people are genuine and sincere, and they are not bots, and they are not being paid by the duplicitous duo, I noticed that an awful lot of them have leapt to conclusions and put words in my mouth and said I've said things which I haven't said, or alternatively, that I haven't said things which I have said. And they've also sort of scrambled the facts. But I don't think that that's what you're speaking about. And let them continue, Harry and Meghan, trying to knock me out of the running. I can tell you, anybody who's a critic of mine, if they manage to knock all of us out of the running, you're going to discover that it might have been actually judicious to have listened to what Pastor Martin Niemöller said about free passes for those who don't deserve them. Pearl says, Lady C, what do you think Vogue's reaction has been to the meeting with Meghan being leaked? Well, my bongo drums have been making tunes and they have been played. And my bongo drums have told me some really interesting stuff. Meghan is hoping to go into some fashion business and is hoping that she will be able to convince Emma Grede, who is a British, actually she's half British, quarter Jamaican, quarter Trinidadian. I always like to see the sisters flourish. Well, she has certainly been flourishing. Emma Grede is a great success. She is very attractive. She is younger than Meghan. She's a year younger than Meghan. She is very genuinely entrepreneurial. She's also married to an entrepreneur, Swedish entrepreneur. She's married to Jens Grede. They have 4 children. She's a graduate. No, she is not. She did not graduate, but she attended the London College of Fashion. That's why she didn't graduate. She is the co-founder and CEO of Good American, the denim company. She was a founding partner of Skims and a co-founder of Safely. She has made herself a very great deal of money. She has the golden touch. And she used to work at Quintessentially, which is Queen Camilla's nephew's company, Ben Elliott. In fact, when COVID started at first, I was in touch with Quintessentially about the possibility of letting out part of the castle to a family that would be able to leave, that wanted to leave the city and come here. And nothing came of it because everything was so fraught at that time. but they quintessentially is very upmarket, and everything Grede does ends up being a great success. She has been in business with, sorry, the Kardashians. If I remember correctly, in 2015 or 2016, she met Kris Jenner, and she is the one who proposed the idea to Kris Jenner. She met her during Paris Fashion Week. Having done that company with Khloe Kardashian, she then, a few years later, was the founding partner with Skims, the body shapewear company, with Kim Kardashian. Interestingly enough, not only has she been commercially in bed with Kris Jenner and the two Kardashian girls, but alongside Kris Jenner and, wait for it, Chrissy Teigen, she co-founded Safely. It's a brand of plant-based cleaning and self-care products that they launched in March 2021. Emma Grede came up with the idea during the COVID pandemic because she wanted products that were safe for her family, she says. And according to her, Safely's mission is to, and I'm quoting, to rid American homes of harsh toxins with plant-powered products. She is brilliant, I am told. She also has interviewed, what's her name again? Oh, Meghan Markle. Sorry, the name slipped me for a moment. And do you remember they did an interview which was very gentle on Meghan? Of course, it gave Meghan a chance to shine. And recently, she hosted a ladies' dinner, or maybe I should say a women's dinner, or a female-only dinner. And Meghan was there. It was supposed to be with very famous women, only one of whom was famous. But there's no doubt that she's a mover and a shaker. And evidently, the whole concept of the Dior trip was to show Emma Grede how fashionable she is and how chic she is and how did I say Dior? I meant Balenciaga. And how Balenciaga was after her. So Emma Grede better get in there quickly before Balenciaga, because remember, Meghan, was an old friend of Per Paolo Piccioli, the new designer. She's been helping him to design for years. Remember, she said it, that she's been a close friend of his. I think they might have met once, and according to him, they were texting, because Balenciaga made it absolutely clear that they did not want Meghan's narrative to stand, which I gather was 27 chairs left out, because the game was given away by Per Paolo Piccioli that no, Balenciaga is not desperate to have Meghan on side, and Emma Grede can have a clear run with Meghan. It's not going to affect Balenciaga It's not even going to affect the haute chambre. What is it? Oh, chambre syndicale, the haute couture. Not going to affect any of them at all. So, was Vogue upset that the meeting was to go back to the question about which, because I've got sidetracked by the fact that not only did Meghan evidently leak, and Vogue was upset, because Vogue was sufficiently upset, and the designer, whose name is, I think, Chloe Mal, they were sufficiently upset to make sure that a few birdies sang the right tune for everybody to know that they had not set up the pap shot. Now, who do you think might have set up the pap shot? It's got to be Thomas Markle Sr., because remember, he's the one who set up pap shots prior to the wedding, and that's why Meghan won't speak to him, because she doesn't approve of anybody who is going to set up pap shots. That means that Meghan cannot have set up the pap shot. Absolutely not. Not a chance. Becca Stephanie Thornquist says, breaking news tonight is that the Twerkers is upset that the royal family forced her to have a health test while pregnant. First of all, isn't that a good thing? Rumours? What does that mean? Is it her way of shutting down the moon bump rumours? Is it proof that she was indeed pregnant? Or is it her way of giving warning signs to the royal family? Don't you dare touch my titles. Sending you and your precious babies lots of love. Thank you very much, Becca. Lovely to hear from you. Hope you're well. Yes, she's managed to leak that she was victimized by the royal family because they insisted on a test to see that the baby didn't have Down syndrome. Is it my imagination? Or is that not a test that's now offered to all pregnant women? I think it is. So Meghan's been victimized. Also, how is it that the royal family was able to force her to have a test as to the viability of the fetus when they didn't even know who her doctors were? She kept all knowledge from them in much the same way that she starved the late Queen of knowledge about her wedding dress. And when the Queen made inquiries, she fobbed her off and refused to answer the question. And when the Queen saw this vision of loveliness sailing down the aisle, like Maria in Sound of Music, dressed all in white to confirm her virginal status, and the demure veil. Oh. So pure and clean that it would make the freshly driven snow look like mush. And the Queen was horrified and commented on the dress and icily said it was too white. Well, I don't know why the Queen would have said that, because there was absolutely no doubt that Meghan, despite having married before and having lived with other men and having had a very checkered past, was obviously entitled to virginal white. Then she has a pregnancy. She gets pregnant. She gets pregnant. And now her latest victimhood is that they forced her to go through a test that is standard, especially to geriatric mothers, which is what she would have been in the situation, because let's remember, she asserts that she was batting 40 and pregnant for the first time. That makes her a geriatric mother. Is this a way of shutting down the moon bump rumours? She's been trying in every way, shape and form to address them without actually providing the very simple proofs that would show that in fact she is speaking the truth. All those engineered scans without the identifying features on them, that sort of thing. Is that to keep the narrative going and the cauldron bubbling? Or is that because if she doesn't eliminate the identifying features, there might be a problem? But certainly she's tried and tried and tried again to shut down the moon bump stories. I don't know if she's really so eager to shut them down, why she simply doesn't provide the proof that is required. As for Meghan thinking that by making that statement, everybody says, yes, of course she was always pregnant, still is. Well, I'm still pregnant, even though my children are coming up for 33. I'm pregnant with the possibilities of what can and might happen. So, is this a way of her giving warning signs to the royal family that they dare not touch her titles? Well, of course, they're not her titles. They're Harry's titles. She only has them as his wife. And should she be divorced, then she'll have them in her own right as a divorcee. But in the meantime, they're really Harry's titles. There are rumours that William will be taking away some of the honorifics when he accedes to the throne, if Harry and Meghan keep on going at the rate they've been going. I think she is institutionally oppositional, and she will continue to push and push and push because that's her nature. So, will William dare to touch the titles? Time will tell. But let's remember, Prince Andrew has been very cooperative. If Harry isn't cooperative, it has to go down the parliamentary route. And unless this happens when Nigel Farage is in power, whether it's Conservative or Labour or Liberal Democrat, there's going to be no appetite for altering the status quo. Because all of those political parties are so afraid of their own shadow and so afraid of rocking the boat in terms of race that they will just allow Meghan to ride roughshod over them the way they've been allowing it all along. So I hope that answers that question. Laura Wyeth says, sorry. Lady C, why didn't the Queen make Harry and that thing he married sign non-disclosures when they quit? Laura Wyeth, interesting question. Incidentally, are you related to the Wyeth painters? Because I have two of one of their works downstairs. One does not ask members of one's family to sign non-disclosure agreements. And certainly no monarch would stoop to even thinking, much less acting upon, the idea that any member of his or her family would be so dishonorable that it would be appropriate to ask them to sign a non-disclosure agreement. I mean, to do so would be to imply that your loved one, in quotes, was dishonorable, was vicious, was untrustworthy, was capable of behaving so badly that you would need to take steps to protect yourself. I mean, do you realize the enormity of asking and the offensiveness of asking a family member to sign a non-disclosure agreement? I mean, I certainly don't know anybody who would consider it appropriate to ask the question. And I should think that anybody who was asked such a question would be outraged to the extent that they would actually end up doing what they did not intend to do. So no, absolutely not. And I mean, when Meghan said that she didn't sign anything and that she was therefore basically given carte blanche to say and do anything she wants, she was showing how low and tacky she is. That the mere idea that she would have considered it as even the remotest of possibilities that the royal family would require her to sign a non-disclosure agreement is mind-boggling. I hope that answers the question. Because, quite frankly, if someone were asked to sign a non-disclosure agreement and they had no intention of betraying any confidences, and providing any unwarranted information that would gain them attention. I mean, they would be so insulted that you might actually trigger the very thing you hope to avoid. And quite frankly, if you triggered it, you deserved it. Because to require a member of your family to sign a non-disclosure agreement, it's mind-boggling. QPR says, Lady C, I'm curious to know if your bongo drums have been telling you anything about Meghan's relationship with Emma Grede. Well, I've pretty much answered that question already. So, I will just finish off what I might have omitted. She is hoping to go into business with Emma Grede. Will she succeed? Time will tell. If Emma Grede and she go into business together, will she listen to Emma Grede? Will she be guided by Emma Grede? Is she going to cock that venture up the way she has cocked everything else up? Because Emma Grede knows what she's talking about. Meghan doesn't. Meghan is a hot air machine that really doesn't know what she's doing except doing some things to gain publicity. But yes, evidently, there is the possibility that they will go into business together. And if they do, I say good luck to both of them. Emma Grede, because she has systematically succeeded at what she set out to do, which shows ability and application. And Meghan, because maybe if she starts to make some money, she'll stop making such a fool of herself. And if they have a viable business, something to do with the fashion world together, and it becomes a roaring success, Meghan won't need to be hustling the way she's been hustling. If she's going to sell products, whatever the products are, she's not going to be able to continue pushing the poisonous lines that she has been pushing. People aren't interested in buying vats of poison. They're only interested in availing themselves of items that are beautiful or valuable and appeal to them and somehow reflect well upon them. Meghan doesn't have a name worth dropping at this point. Maybe a bit of retrenchment, a little bit of silence, give people time to want to see her or hear about her instead of her cramming herself down everybody's throat on a daily basis. That would be a start as well. And on that note, I'm going to say thank you very much for listening. I hope this has been something that you found interesting, and I hope that I've given you some information sort of ahead of the game, so to speak, because I don't think that it's common knowledge that a lot of the orchestration with Balenciaga and Vogue has really been to manipulate Emma Grede into the awareness that she really has to go into business with Meghan, because this is her chance, her only chance to become an outstanding success. Oh, sorry, I forgot. That's the track record she's shown time and again since 2016. Thank you very much. Hope you have enjoyed this. Godspeed. And if you would care to like, share, press the notification bell, and hype, please, if you are so inclined. It evidently is a good thing to do. Godspeed. Bye bye.